くぞ。ジェノサイカッター。
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and you all know that Leona is my waifu. So my goal for Leona is to make her as strong as possible. And this video might help some of you out there as far as maybe trying to figure out what's going to work for you as far as making your characters as strong as they can be. But before we get into that, I do want to remind all of you that today is the last day for the Halloween Rush event coins. So make sure you collect all of these. Make sure that you collect the Halloween Infinity Item mystery boxes and so on. So what we're going to do today is we've already figured out pretty much the best card set for at least Leona, which is the Burning Camaraderie set, which is this set right here. This is pretty much the best set for this character because it does increase all attack by 21%. It also increases boss damage fighters active skills by 25%. And then it also gives you an increased attack by 20% for 5 seconds upon boss damage fighters landing a blast skill. It's an OP set for boss syndrome fighters, right? But what we're going to do today is we're actually going to be comparing a little Tekken action with the boss syndrome fighters. One, just to see how strong the Tekken set is because of the way that I have Leona built. I got Leona built in a way where you could probably benefit from either using the Tekken set or even the Mad Tea Party set because they're going to add a lot of extra critical rate and critical damage. And whenever you use certain stones that like what I'm using here, like the second and the third stone, the second stone is a volume 4 stone that does increase, critical damage by 25%. And then the third stone also increases critical damage by 25%, which is a volume 3 stone from the BS fighters. So having all that extra critical damage may synergize very well with the Tekken set that does give an extra 10% critical rate. It also gives an extra critical damage by 50%, which is just nuts. And then it also gives a solid extra 18% extra attack. And I know many of you don't have this set, but this is really purely for testing. I mean, you might try this with the Mad Tea Party set if you're trying to build your Leona or maybe another character, right? So we're going to test the Tekken set with 2 critical damage imprint stones. And let's look at the stat details that we got going on here. So she has 261% critical damage right now. She has 23% critical rate, right? She's got a lot. She's got 77,000 attack going on currently. Well, the test that we're going to do is we're going to switch out these imprint stones with 2 active skill damage stones. So I've already unpaired some stones for Leona. Let me see if I can find them for you. So you got like this one here, which we'll go ahead and equip. And then for the third stone, we have this one here, which we'll go ahead and equip. And now our CP has dropped 4,500. We have 4,500 less CP than what we had before. And we are rocking about the same amount of attack. As far as our stat details, now our critical damage is at 211%. So we have a lot less critical damage, but our critical rate is pretty much about the same, and our attack is pretty much within the same realm. So a little bit less CP using 2 active skill damage imprint stones versus using 2 BS stones that offer extra critical damage, right? So what was the outcome for this? So what I did was I did a comparison in Dungeon of Trials against the spider robot. Now I'll go ahead and bring it up for you guys right now. And on the left, as you guys can see, we have the 2 critical damage stones equipped with the Tekken set. And on the right, we have 2 active skill damage stones equipped with the Tekken set. And it's pretty interesting how this ended up turning out, right? Now keep in mind we're using the Tekken set. We will do another little comparison using the Burning Camaraderie set. But I was just curious, having all this extra critical damage, how well it would synergize with, let's say the Tekken set. And as you guys can see, with the Tekken set, using 2 critical damage stones, we did more damage than using 2 active skill damage stones. So you're thinking, so with the Mad Tea Party set, like if you're using a Mad Tea Party set and you're using 2 critical damage stones, at least on Leona, this is only specifically for Leona. I mean, other characters, it's probably going to play out a little bit different. And, you could do these tests all day. I mean, you could spend an eternity trying to do all these tests on multiple different characters because, honestly, different stones are going to be more effective on different characters depending on the types of skills that they have, depending on how well they play, how often they do critical hits, if they got buffs on their kits, and so on and so on and so on. But in Leona's case, the 2 critical damage stones is actually better with the Tekken set, which is pretty sweet, guys. That's actually very, very cool. So now we'll do another little comparison with Leona. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to run this Tekken Set one more time, but we're going to change our imprint stones a little bit here. So volume 1 stone actually has an increase to strike skill damage, right? So we're going to find that sucker here. And I did a lot of unpairing to be able to do this. Let me see here. That's critical damage. There we go. So we'll go ahead and equip that. So now we have a stone that offers the double attack, but it also has increased to strike skill damage. And 2 of Leona's skills are strike skill. And we're going to leave the third one as critical damage because we found out having that extra critical damage really works with the Tekken Set. So all I've done is I've just changed the second stone. You know, we tried it with a critical damage second stone. We tried it with a increased active skill damage second stone. We found out the double critical damage was actually better with the Tekken Set. So now what I've done is I've changed the second stone to the increase to strike skill damage, and this is by 15%. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to compare the Tekken Set, which has 109,000 CP. We have 77,000 attack, right? And we're going to compare it to the Burning Camaraderie set. So when I equip the Burning Camaraderie set here, and I do have one of these cards is transcended, we lost 15,000 CP with this set, right? But our attack is at 84,000, right? So we gained a tremendous amount of attack, but we lost a lot of CP. And as many of you know, the buffs on these cards make a huge difference. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring up this little run so you guys can check this out, all right? We'll go ahead and continue playing this here. All right, let's move on a little bit, get to the next fight here. Okay, so on the left, as you guys can see, we got the Burning Camaraderie set equipped with the Strike Stone and the Critical Damage Stone. Then we have the Tekken Set with the Strike Stone and the Critical Damage Stone equipped. All right, remember the first stone's always the same. And I'm playing it exactly the same. Exactly the same, guys. All right, here we go. The same amount of skills, the same amount of times. And now look at this. Now this is pretty damn interesting, right? So the Tekken Set got beat out, right? For one, the Burning Camaraderie set is a fast set, right? It just has natively more CP, although the Tekken Set just increased CP tremendously, right? We lost 15,000 CP, but we gained a lot of attack. I mean, we gained about, what, 7,000 attack with the Burning Camaraderie set. And as you guys can see, in Leona's case, using the Burning Camaraderie set with the Strike Skill Stone for the second stone and a Critical Damage Stone, we were able to put out more damage. In fact, 4 million more damage than what we could with the Tekken Set. And I really didn't know how this would actually play out, man. I played this quite a few times, and this was the outcome that kept happening for me, and it was actually pretty surprising. And you could really continue to do all kinds of testing. You know, I'm lucky enough that I have all the volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4 stones, so I can finagle these and move them around. And that is something that's pretty cool about the BS and the SS stones, is the fact that you can actually unpair them from a character and equip them on another character. I mean, if there was a volume 1 increase to strike skill damage stone, that's the stone that I would put on this character. Unfortunately, there's only an increase to blast skill, which, I mean, I might do. She does have blast skill on her third skill. Maybe that would be better than this. But these kinds of videos where you're doing all these comparisons can really go on for an eternity. I mean, seriously, it's limitless as far as, you know, how many tests you could do, how far you could take it. But let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see any other kind of comparison. And I do want to throw out a little something here. In the codex here, guys, there's a couple really good free-to-play options for you as far as, you know, playing with a character like Leona, especially. And that is, you know, I mean, obviously, if you don't have the Burning Camaraderie set, you can just use the, let me see if I can find it here. This here is a really cheap set if you have this set here for Leona, because it does increase your active skill damage by 12%, and you do get the extra 6%, so you get 18%, but the other cards just increase HP and defenses, but you do get the extra strike skill damage by 23%. So it's a really good free-to-play option, and a really OP free-to-play option would be the Idol Kula set, which actually increases strike skill damage by 30% and 50% chance to increase active by 20% for 5 seconds upon landing a strike skill. This is an OP free-to-play set, not to mention that you get an extra increased attack by 6%, but the other cards do just get penetration and HP. I mean, it's an OP free-to-play set, so I thought I'd just mention those two free-to-play options. If you don't have the Burning Camaraderie set, especially for characters that use multiple strike skills in their active skills. And I'm going to continue doing these kind of comparisons because I really do want to make My girl here is strong as I possibly can, so I'm just trying to figure out exactly what stones, what card sets are going to be the most optimal for this character. And if you're building a certain character and you have the extra stones available, you have the unpairing kits available to you, then maybe you might want to try it yourself just to see how strong you can actually make your favorite character. So I realize this video isn't for everybody because not everybody's going to have all of the BS stones. They're not going to have all the SS stones, and I completely understand that. But I just wanted to shed some light on maybe the most optimal build, at least for Leona. And unfortunately, I can't do this for multiple characters because I can't be unpairing stones and equipping them and unpairing them over and over and over because you only have so many unpairing kits. So I really thought maybe the Tekken Set would come out on top because, you know, all that extra critical damage and as much critical rate she has, she'd be hitting like a truck over and over and over. But once again, you know, the increase of strike skill damage from the Burning Camaraderie set just comes out on top for a character like Leona. So let me know what y'all think about these little comparisons. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.